Alright, so we've got this back together. We replaced the O-rings inside and the seals for the shaft. Now this still might leak, being that we don't know if that shaft has been compromised as far as it wearing in those old O-rings. So we'll get this back together and hopefully it doesn't leak. We've got the oil change done on that truck, and now they are running a grease gun around it. There it is, this transmission all lined up and in there. He was 20 minutes from the time he pushed it underneath the truck to the time he had it lined up and in place. It's like putting duals on a tractor. Sometimes you can put stuff in and put things together faster alone than you can with two guys fighting each other. So that's in there, he's just got to put his bolts in. Other than that, this will get this job closer to being done here. Well, they've got this truck here just about serviced. This truck was supposed to be Sarah's truck, and I don't think she's ever driven it. Have you? No. No, why not?
I don't know. I didn't even drive it in here.
There's one right here too.
This one I don't think you're getting.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I don't think it ever was greased. That's why. Maybe that's not even a Zerk. Yeah, that's not a Zerk. It's right here. Try that. Yeah. Okay. You gonna do the drive line in here or in the grass?
I guess I'll do it in here.
You're gonna do it in here? All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I can get it.
Well, we've got that fan all sealed up. We'll have to see how that does in the next couple days here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to rebuild these steering cylinders. Now I am assuming that this one on this right hand side has got a packing that is leaking. So we're going to do that one first. We'll get it unbolted, get it out of the machine, and disassemble it, get the rebuild kit into it, and get it back in there, turn the machine over to the other side, get the other side out. I was going to leave it somewhat centered, but I figured if I turned the machine, I'd have a little more room to work. So that's how we're going to approach this. So we'll get our panel off of there, get the hoses off the cylinder. I haven't made up my mind whether I'm going to rebuild it with the cylinder in the machine or not. Yeah. Alright, so we ended up getting that rod out of there, and then most of these kits on these John Deere, or most of these John Deere cylinders, have a snap ring that is on the, oh, whatever the hell you call this, it's not really the piston, but the gland, if you will. There's a snap ring on here, it's right there. That snap ring keeps this guy from coming out of the barrel. You put this little plastic guide in there, it fills the void in on the barrel so that this guide can't come out. Now, this guide, you could see that it has failed. It's got some O-ring material that is missing here. So I had suspected that the right-hand cylinder was the weak culprit. So we'll get that disassembled, get the O-rings on here, get it rebuilt, and then we will install it back in the barrel. Hook up our hydraulic hoses, and then we'll do the same thing to the other side. I don't want to just rebuild this side and say that the other side is going to be fine, because it will fail at some point in time. So we will go ahead and do that one too. So let's go ahead and get that guy there disassembled. Well, Andrew's putting the finishing touches on this fifth wheel here. Just hooking up the air line. And we've got to get some grease up on here too. So put a couple tubes of grease on here, Andrew, and grease these grease zerks. There should be 2 on each side. Alright, so we've got everything all together here. Now we just need to, all of our O-rings and packings and everything are replaced. Now we just gotta put things back together here. In case you're wondering what the pressure washer noises are, Alex is out walking her trailer off. Making Moss trailers great again. Alex and Sarah hauled compost here. the other day and they're just walking these trailers off, getting them all cleaned up again. This is the newest trailer. We bought this one last year. They clean up pretty good. Alright, so we've got that into place there. It took me a little bit to get that hose clamp around that snap ring so that we could drive that gland in there. So now what we got to do, I probably should drive it in just a little farther and then pull it back and put the outer snap ring on there. All this outer snap ring does is it keeps this guy from falling into the cylinder. You could have it fall in. If it gets behind this port here, then oil is going to come out the other side of it. So we'll pull this pin, screw around with it, pull that ram back to get that top part of the cylinder to come back where it is, and then put that snap ring on. We want to make sure that inner snap ring seats into where it's supposed to go. It should be there right now. Alright, we've got this right hand side back together. We'll fire up the loader, we'll do a full turn to the right, to the left, back again a couple times, and then we'll crank the machine. We'll turn it the other way so that we can get in to the cylinder on that other side there. So let's fire this up and turn it a couple of times. Alright, we've got this side done. Now we're going to do the same thing to this other side. So we'll get this apart. I don't suspect that there's anything wrong with this side. However, I do not want to neglect it because it's going to have a problem down the road. So we're going to tear this side apart. Basically the same thing as the other side. We'll show you what things look like when we get it done. Alright, we've got this rod out, and that O-ring there is eaten up just like it was on the other cylinder. So we've basically got the same problems on this side as we had on the other side there. So it's not quite as bad as the seals would be on the inside of that thing there. So, oh boy, this one I've welded. So I don't think I'm going to be taking, I'm not going to be taking this apart and replacing the O-rings on the inside of this, because this rod is welded from when I did this last time. So we're only going to be doing the outer O-rings on this one. Alright, Sarah's got her truck out of the shop. Alex got her trailer cleaned up. We didn't really show you too much on this frac tank, but they put a new T-valve on this frac tank. And they don't make this style tank anymore. This has got a V'd bottom in it. And they only made 2 of these. This is our second one. We didn't have the first one that long. It didn't agitate out the greatest. So we've replaced this T on here a couple of times. I think the original one was a T, and Jared wanted the ability to load, he wanted the ability to load a load stand. So I think he put this cross on there. I think all it was originally was a T. But at any rate, this fan housing has changed a couple of different times. This fan housing is a little taller, and it throws this pitch off on the agitation coming from the pump back into the tank. So Jared had to fabricate some pieces to get that to line up so that that hose wasn't goofy. So what he's going to do now is he's going to order another cross so that we can get that, have one identical to this one in case they change it again, being that they don't have any more of these frac tanks in production. They're not really building parts for this one. And then instead of him trying to cut these pieces with the torch, he can get them miter cut. And I think he was on like a 5-degree offset to get that to line up. You can see how this one is taller than that one there, but you want a straight shot. So we've got this payloader wrapped up. Jared's got the transmission bolted in on this 900, but he has not had any more time to work on this. So with that being said, that is gonna do it for this video. I want to thank everybody for watching, and we will catch you at the next one. You don't need no front weight on tractors. You can see how much that lifted the front end of that tractor off the ground. That doesn't have any weight on it. But when we pull that around, we like to have something with a full stack on there.